Yeah, that's how normally things are in school. Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel that it's a lot of work, or do you think you can manage?
Actually, I don't know. Lots of them are from for the Sunday, and I don't have any of them. Well, uh, there's too much. I feel like the teachers left everything to the last point because the other week they don't tell us any of this, and all of this happened just this week, and it's a lot. This time it's really a lot.
Yeah, sometimes it's that we need to get more organized as teachers. We need to uh, assign the activities more with more space, right? Let me say hello to Mickey. Mickey, good afternoon. How are you today?
Good afternoon, teacher. I'm great, thank you. A little bit tired, but great. And you?
Fine, excellent. Actually, I feel very well. My
I'm glad.
friend came yesterday to visit. She stayed overnight. And she prepared something to eat. She gave me a dessert, and this dessert was absolutely delicious. She built me a Napolitan cake,
Mm,
absolutely delicious. She baked
I
it.
can imagine.
She baked it in Leon and brought it here, and I ate almost all of it, Mickey. All of it, almost. Was really delicious. And today in the morning, I went to work. I teach two classes at Liceo Cervantino, and then from there, I went to Incarnate, where I teach a German class. And it's a lot of fun, believe me, it's a lot of fun because it's basic German.
Mhm.
And the kids, well, they are youngsters, they are in their early 20s or late teens, like 19, 20, 21.
Yeah,
And they're avid to learn. So they want to learn as much as they can. So it's a lot of fun, really. A lot of fun. And
I can
yeah,
imagine, teacher. That's great.
yeah. I understand that Mitch and you have a lot of activities, lot of homeworks and things to do at home. Is that true?
Well, yeah, because the next week is of exams, and always the week before of the uh, week of exams is for projects and activities in teams and that kind of work. But it's okay. It's only we just need to manage correctly our time.
Yeah, Mitch made a comment. Your comment is very interesting, Mitch, that some of the teachers assign the tasks, the activities at the very last moment
Yeah.
instead of pacing the activities like the first week give you some amount, the second week some amount, more or less the same, and the third week and so on at a good pace. Yeah. What do you think of that, Mitch? Why do teachers do that, you think?
Uh, I don't know. I really don't know that. Maybe they could give us more time for do all of this. Maybe they are um, disorganized same as us, but I don't know. Or if the school program is like that, or I don't know, but I don't feel it okay.
Yeah. What's your take on that, Mickey? What do you think?
Uh, I think that it's necessary that uh, teachers and the students could talk about it because sometimes uh, the students, for example, in my case, there are people who are doing their practices. I don't know how to say practicas.
Practices or practical training?
Yeah, they're practicing, and sometimes the time is not enough. But it's the same for the teachers because I know that sometimes they need to check all the homeworks, all the works, all the exams. So it's just need we just need to talk with them and they talk with us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah. Sometimes, for example, at Liceo, the students don't have the book. So how do you ask them to do some homework from the book if they don't have the book? Sometimes the books arrive late. It's not that it's the student's fault at all. Sometimes the books have not arrived because the distributor was told kind of late.
Uh-huh.
And they have their times, also their schedules. So it's not always an easy situation. But I like the approach that Mitch and you have and take on this. The best is to talk about it. Look, there was this issue. Let's negotiate. Let's talk about it. Let's fix it. Let's do a what you call a compromise. A compromise is I give something, you give something, right? Like negotiate. That's what it means to say compromise. It's not necessarily that I make a commitment or I risk anything. Compromise is I withdraw something and you or the negotiator gives away something. Well, okay, guys, I'd like to share with you an interesting topic for grammar, which I'm sure you know about, but which is also interesting to check, just recheck, because I'm sure that you know about these reciprocal pronouns. Nietzsche, do you know what a reciprocal pronoun is?
A what?
Reciprocal pronoun is here on the screen.
Oh, not actually.
Can you please read then the definition? Then you
Yeah.
will.
Reciprocal pronouns are used to refer to two or more people who are or we were the subjects of the same verb, with both of all parties mutually receiving or benefiting from that action in the same way. Reciprocal pronouns always function as the object of verbs, referring back to the two or more people who are or were the subjects.
Yeah, let's continue, please, to reciprocal pronouns.
The two reciprocal pronouns in English are each other or and one another. Uh, in traditional grammar, each other is used to identify only two people who are engaged in the mutual action, while one another describes more than two people. However, this supposed rule is less commonly applied in modern English, with each other and one another often being used interchangeably.
Exactly. For example, there is a group of five people. One, two, three, four, five people, right? And it was St. Valentine's Day. And so they decided to give gifts to one another, right? They decided to give gifts to one another. So each one gave a gift to another one, to another guy. So probably Poncho gave for gifts, one to Susie, one to Patty, right? One to Louis, and one to Jimmy. And Jimmy did the same. So they gave gifts to one another. This can happen between two or more people. Whereas if there is another party, probably let's call two people. Give me two names that you like, Mickey or Mitch. Two names that you like.
Michael and James.
Michael and James. Well, they are good friends and they gave gifts to each other, right? They gave gifts to each other. There are only two people, so it's not one another, it's each other.
Mm-hmm.
So those are reciprocal, right? Michael gives a present to James, and James gives a present to Michael. Consequently, they gave gifts to each other, right? It's that simple. And I'm sure that you know this, but just for practice, we use one another, one to many, each one to many, and each other, one to another person, and James to Michael. Michael to James, James to Michael. That's simple, no complications, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, can you give a similar example using one another and using each other, please? Give each. Any example with one another, each other.
Dime qué digo, ¿qué hago? ¿Te dejo allí y luego ya o él?
Mm, Could be. Uh,
Let's suppose that tell me four players, famous players that don't know each other, Mickey. Any football players who don't know each other. Maybe Piquet. You like soccer? You like football?
yeah, Ronaldo,
Ronaldo,
Messi,
Messi, and one more.
and Neymar.
Neymar didn't know didn't know one another, or hadn't met before. Hadn't met hadn't met before. So they decided to introduce one another. They introduced one another, right? They got introduced to each other, but really they introduced one another. To introduce themselves to one another. Themselves. In presentarse, right?
Mhm.
Or you can say not presentarse, but presentar a los otros, right? To introduce one another. Introduce to one another. So let's read that. Can you read that, Mitch, please?
I think that Mitch is connecting again.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, she got disconnected. Sorry about that. Okay, let's read this. Mickey, please.
Piqué, Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar hadn't met before, so they decided to introduce to one another.
Right, exactly. So when you have many people and they all do the action, is one another. And when only two people introduced to each other, so you say to each other, right? So let's imagine these two people. Let's say Schumacher. Okay, no, let's say Elizabeth and Chabelo, right? How would you say that they finally got to meet? How would you say that?
What was the first name, teacher? I can't read.
Sorry. Let me.
Elizabeth?
Elizabeth, yes.
Mm, last night, Elizabeth and Chabelo met each other.
Exactly. Perfect. Probably for the last time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Elizabeth, the queen, passed away today. Did you know?
Yeah, she had 96 years, right? 96.
She was 96.
Eh, she was old enough.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And she was a fine lady from what I know. She lived substantially well. Had a
Yeah.
couple of difficult times during the Second World War. She had to do several negotiations. She had also a difficult episode during the Strait of Gibraltar. Let me accept Mitch. Mitch, you're back.
Hi, teacher. Sorry.
Very good. Well, I'm going to ask Mickey to read his example once again, please. Talking about Elizabeth and Chabelo.
Mhm.
Mickey, can you read it again? Can you say your phrase again,
Mhm.
please?
Last night, well, yeah, last night Elizabeth and Chabelo met each other.
We use each other because it's only two people, right?
Háganse para allá.
Mhm.
No le entrega, por favor.
Let's talk about other people like Chamberlain, Churchill. I don't know if has double L. And Elizabeth. Let's say that they didn't know at one time. Eventually, they became not only close friends but collaborators. They decided to meet one day. How would you say that, Mitch? Chamberlain, Churchill, and Elizabeth. How would you say?
Mm, Chamberlain, Churchill, Elizabeth, and Elizabeth met.
Met one Another. Met one another.
One another?
Yeah.
Or,
Normally you say each other when you have two people. Met one another when you have three or more than two, three, four, five, etc.
oh, okay.
Right?
Thank
So
you.
that's the simple application of each other and one another. Elizabeth and Chabelo met each other. Chamberlain, Churchill, and Elizabeth met one another. That's simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very
Teacher,
good.
can I go quickly to the bathroom?
Say that again, Mickey, please.
Yes, teacher, that if I can go to the bathroom.
Absolutely. Yes, of course.
Thank you.
No question about that, absolutely. Well, let's continue with the next topic, Mitch, which is reciprocal pronouns versus reflexive pronouns. Can you
Okay.
please read that?
What?
Yeah, if you can please read reciprocal pronouns versus
Yes.
reflexive
Mhm.
pronouns.
Reciprocal pronouns versus reflexive pronouns. Because the subjects of the sentence are also the objects of the same verb, it might seem logical to use one of the reflexive pronouns to represent them instead, as in we call ourselves every day. However, this is incorrect. Reflexive pronouns are used with one-way actions, so saying we call ourselves means each other is calling him or herself individually, i.e., person A calls person A every day, person B calls person B.
Yeah, you don't call yourself, right?
No.
So it's incorrect to say we call ourselves each day. What is the correct way to say this? Nos llamamos uno al otro cada día. How do you say that in Spanish?
We
No, not in Spanish,
call
in
each
English.
other every day.
Absolutely well. Exactly. Very good. So I'm going to write it down. Can you repeat it, please? We call.
We call each other every day.
Let's say that is not a group of two friends. Let's say that it's a group uh, of three friends. I'm going to call this let's say Mitch. Oh, I met a friend of yours, Mitch, the other day, Rodrigo, Ramiro, what's his name?
Yeah, there we go.
Rodrigo. Yeah, he was in the swimming pool.
Yes, he actually was the one. I don't know if you remember that one time I had the class in another house,
Yeah,
and a classmate was behind me. What's him?
yeah, very friendly, very nice guy. He told me, I know you. And I told him, you know me, maybe in the red page of the newspaper. No, 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 I know you. Where from? From a school? And then he says, no, you're Mitch's teacher. I said, yeah, but how do you know? I said, well, just like that.
Mhm.
Very funny, very nice guy.
Yeah, you met in the swimming pool, right?
In the swimming pool, yes, in Ovaera swimming pool, I met him.
Yeah, I want to be there
Well, I'll
with
tell
them.
you what, the deal is 500 pesos per semester, class
I
once a week.
know. I go to the Taekwondo place, but for my back, there is bad. I didn't feel well with those exercises. Then
Oh,
I'm trying to change to the swimming, but it's been difficult lately.
oh, sorry about that. I tell you what, swimming is gonna do you very, very good. It's gonna do you very, very good because
I
swimming
know,
makes the
and
muscles push. Yeah.
I want to change.
Well, you need to talk to Jonathan at Instituto Irapuato and tell him that you want to join the school. Actually, they have like a deadline to subscribe, but I believe that you're in good time now if you go. Tell them that you want to join the swimming classes, swimming training. They let you in, I'm
Mm,
sure.
I tried. He always told me that the places are full. They're actually in the first time it were to be just two groups for swimming, but a lot of people want to go to the swimming. Then was like four groups in the last part. In the last time, I didn't get them, but
Well,
some classmates told me that they usually don't go to them, don't go to the swim to the pool, and they tell me, "Oh, use my place," and that's it. But Jonathan don't let me yet. I explained my situation, and just he recommend me a physiotherapist, but I still can't go. My mom going to send me to the chiropractic. I think it is in English.
Yeah.
In Leon this Saturday. I don't know if it's going to be possible, but well, I hope so because I'm really tired of this thing from my back.
Yeah, well, the last time that I went to swim over there, I met Rodrigo, and the swimming pool was empty, almost empty. So
Empty.
yeah, I suggest that you talk with Jonathan again and tell him that the swimming pool was empty, and I can witness that because I was
Okay.
there and it was almost empty. There were 5 people in the whole swimming pool.
Oh boy,
It's Fridays
that's
two to
tough.
three. Yeah. Well, how would you respond this, Mickey, if you say we call each other every day? Uh, when it comes to saying 3 people, Mitch, Rodrigo, and Linda call, how would you say that? How would you complete the phrase?
Uh, Mitch, Rodrigo, and Linda call one another every day.
Excellent. So it's that simple. And we were reading that you use reciprocal pronouns in these cases and not reflexive pronouns because you don't say we call ourselves every day. If you say we call ourselves every day, is you call yourself and I call myself and Mitch calls herself. I take the phone. Excuse me, is teacher Edgardo there? Or Mitch says, "Hello, I'm looking for Mitch." Or you say, "Hello, I'm looking for Mickey," which is illogical, right? So
Yeah.
it's not correct to say we call ourselves. It's we call each other, or if it's 3, 4, or 5 people, we call one another every day. That's clear, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So look, we call each other every day, or we call one another when it's 3, 4, or 5 or more people. Okay? Now let's see how we use each other versus one another. Can you read this, Mickey, please? As we said already.
Using each other versus one another. As we said already, we can use both each other and one another to refer to reciprocal action between two individuals or between multiple people in large groups. It depends entirely on the context. If we have already been talking about Mary and Susan before we say they love one another, then it is obvious that the action is limited to those two. Likewise, if we had been talking about the various members of a large family and then say they love each other, then it's clear that the action is reciprocal among all of the individuals in the group. Again, while traditional and prescriptive grammarians sometimes insist that each other can only be used between two people and one another can only be used between more than two people, this guideline is not based on historical or linguistic evidence. The two are interchangeable.
Okay, let's take a look at this. Mitch, can you read this next paragraph, please, and then we make some examples.
Each other and one another's. When we wish to make reciprocal pronouns possessive, we always treat them as singular and add an s to the
Apostrophe,
end
apostrophe,
because
apostrophe.
both each other and one another refers to the individual within a pair of group. They cannot take the plural possessive from, i.e., each other's, or one another's. However, because we are talking about things belonging to two or more people, the nouns that follow their possessive are usually pluralis,
Pluralized, pluralized.
pluralized. Okay, thank you. For example, my neighbor and I spend a lot of time at each other's house when we were
Houses,
kids.
houses.
Houses when we were kids. The students were sent off in pairs to correct one another's assignments. Everyone at the rally was bolstered by each other energy.
Each other's energy. Very good. As you can see, uh, Even if you're using two people, one another's, you use the plural assignments because are the tasks or commitments that each person individually have. You cannot use plural in energy because you don't have energies. You say each other's energy. That makes sense, right, Mickey? What comment can you make about these examples, Mickey, please?
About that, we add s to the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they say that each other is treated as singular and one another is treated as singular. That's why you use the apostrophe before the S and not after the S. In other words, you don't say each other's apostrophe, but you say each other apostrophe S, and that means the possessive. And then, but the object is plural houses, each other's houses. What can you comment about that, please?
Uh, yeah, that for example, when we add the apostrophe before the s to the end, we refer to uh, how can I say this? To um, to something that belongs to someone.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So my neighbor and I spend a lot of time at each other's houses. Why don't you put the apostrophe after the S in the first example?
Because we're talking about the houses of the neighbor, the house of the neighbor. Well, yeah,
The house is one of each neighbor, right?
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's correct. That's the reason. But not in the case of energy, because in the case of energy, energy is singular by definition. Okay, let's see. Let's have a little quiz. Let's have a little quiz. Can you read the first question, Mitch, please?
Yes. Which reciprocal pronoun is used when talking about two people, each other?
Correct. Very good. Now, number two, Mickey, can you read it, please?
What grammatical role do reciprocal pronouns take in a sentence? Mm,
We check the definition. Reciprocal pronouns. Let me go back a little bit. Reciprocal pronouns. Okay, definition here.
to the subject?
It says reciprocal pronouns always function as the objects
Yes.
of verbs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so in the quiz, what grammatical role do reciprocal pronouns take in a sentence?
In the object
Objects.
component? Oh, no,
No,
no, no.
just the object. The object. The object. You say think is. It says the objects of the verbs.
Yeah.
The object of the verbs. So that's the reciprocal pronouns. That's the quiz. Let's do number three. Mitch, you want to read number three, please?
Yes. Which of the following do we add to the reciprocal pronouns to indicate position? The C?
With two apostrophes?
Yes. No.
DB.
Indicate possession to the reciprocal pronouns. Pronouns, well, here and here. We use
Just one. Okay. I
just one.
confused with because there are a lot other apostrophes there. What
Yeah,
there's not. What are those in English, teacher? Comillas.
okay. This is apostrophe. This is
Ah,
quotation marks. Quotation marks.
quotation
So
marks. Okay.
apostrophe and quotation marks. And the quotation marks, yeah, you're right, they get confusing because quotation marks got in the way of the apostrophes. Right,
Yep.
so these are quotation marks. And this is the apostrophe. Well, not the S, but the apostrophe. Apostrophe, quotation marks. And so for the quiz, which one is the right answer? A, B, C, or D?
A.
A, yeah. Do you agree, Mickey?
Mm, yes, teacher.
Yes, yes, it's exactly, yes. It says, can you read this again, please? This first paragraph.
When we wish to make reciprocal pronouns possessive, we always treat them as singular and add s to the end because both each other and one another refer to the individuals within a pair of group. They cannot take the plural possessive form. Example: each others or one another.
Right, that they cannot take the plural possessive. So let's see. They, okay, let's say this. Pancho and Pancho gave flowers to each other's mothers. Let me ask you, this phrase is correct or is incorrect? So you tell me if it is right or if it is not right. Can you read this? Mitch, let me, I just increased the font size a bit.
Pancho and Pancho babe?
Gave, I'm sorry.
Gave flower to each other's mothers. To each
Is this
other.
right or wrong?
Wrong.
Wrong?
I think it need to be to their mothers.
No. I mean,
No,
Pancho
it is.
gave flowers. Yes, Mickey.
Because in this case we have the apostrophe before the s, so that indicates that we're talking about of the moms of each other.
Exactly. That means that Poncho gave flowers to Pancho's mom, and Pancho gave flowers to Poncho's mom.
Mhm.
Yes? But then you put the apostrophe here, so this is correct. Let me see. Now we have three people. Lencho, Poncho, and Pancho gave flowers to one another's sisters. Can you read this, Mickey, please?
That's weird.
Lencho, Poncho, and Pancho gave flowers to one another's sisters. In this case, it is not correct, right?
It is not correct. You are right. It is not correct. Where should the apostrophe be placed?
Before the s.
Exactly, before the S. Even if the sisters is a plural noun, we're talking about the sisters of each of them. Lencho's sister, Poncho's sister, and Pancho's sister,
Pancho's sister.
right? So that's what it says here, that the apostrophe should be placed considering one another and each other as singular, even if the object is plural. That's what it means. All right. Well, no biggie, not a big deal. All right, that was number 3. Let's do number 4, please.
Me?
Yeah, yes, please.
When do we use a reciprocal pronoun instead of a reflexive pronoun? I think that we done that question, right?
We did it?
Yeah, we did it.
No?
Okay. Well,
When?
Not. I think that. Oh, could you scroll down, teacher? Do you scroll up?
We were in the third
And we
one.
were number 3, talking about apostrophes. I think this is a new one, Mickey.
Oh, sorry, teacher.
Reciprocal pronoun instead of a reflexive pronoun.
A, when the subject of the sentence receives the action of the verb. B, when the object of the sentence receives the action of the same verb. When the subjects of the sentence receive the action of the same verb individually and separately. And D, when the subjects of the sentence receive the action of the same verb mutually and equally. In this
Yes,
case,
Mickey.
when in the letter B.
Letter B. Okay, let's see what it says. Looks like a tongue twister. Right, let's see B. When the object of the action, when the object of the sentence receives the action of the same verb. What do you think, Mitch? Do you agree?
I'm not sure.
Well, let's read the definition again. Here, reciprocal pronoun versus reflexive pronoun. It says the subjects and the objects, the subjects of the sentence are also the objects of the same verb,
Oh,
right?
so both.
It says here, when the subjects of the sentence receive the action of the same verb mutually and equally,
Yeah.
the subjects of the sentence. So reciprocal, one another, or when the object, no, when objects, because you are the objects, right? Mickey, let's say that you have a friend. Tell me any friend that you have. Let's
David.
use Mickey in this case. Mickey and Mitch
Okay.
gave chocolate. Gave chocolates. You give chocolates to Mitch, and Mitch gives you chocolates. So gave chocolates, one or two, it doesn't matter. Chocolates, you say themselves or to each other?
To each other.
What do you think, Mitch?
Yes.
Themselves or to each other?
No, to each other.
Exactly, that's exactly right. That means that you give some chocolates to Mickey, and Mickey gives you some chocolates as well, right? This is the right answer. Which are the objects? Now,
The chocolate.
this is the subject. This is the subject.
Mhm.
What
And
do
the
you
object.
give? What you give chocolate, right?
Yeah.
But you give chocolate to Mickey. Mitch gives a chocolate or chocolates to Mickey. That means that Mickey becomes the subject. I'm sorry, becomes the destination. So it's the object and the subject at the same time. And the same thing happens with Mitch. In other words, you become objects and subjects. And so here, the subjects of the sentence receive the action of the same verb mutually and equally. That means Mitch gives chocolates to Mickey and Mickey gives chocolates to Mitch. You are the subjects of the sentence receive the action. That means Mickey and Mitch receive chocolates. Mitch receives chocolates from Mickey and Mickey receives chocolates from Mitch. That's simple. So it's letter D.
D.
Yes. Okay. Let's see the last part, which is also interesting. I'm sure that you know this instinctively and maybe naturally. But sometimes it's important to know the root.
Mhm.
Who wants to read this? Do you want to read this, Mitch, please? Dummy pronouns definition.
Okay. Dummy pronouns definition. Dummy pronouns are words that function grammatically as pronouns, but which do not have antecedents like normal pronouns do. This means that unlike, could you scroll them? Unlike normal pronouns, dummy pronouns do not replace a noun, phrase, or clause. They refer to nothing in particular, but instead help the sentence to function properly in a grammatical content. Dummy pronouns are also commonly referred to as expletive pronouns. There are two dummy pronouns, there and it.
Okay, let's continue, please.
There's a dummy pronoun. There is primarily used a dummy pronoun in circumstances where the sentence is explaining that a person, place, or thing exists. When the word there is being used in this manner, it is often referred to as the existential there. For example, the following sentences contain the dummy pronoun there to explain the extension of people, places, or things.
Exactly. Let me give you an example of a common mistake that many students and teachers make. Many people make this mistake. We say, there exists, well, there already means that there is the existence of something, right?
Mhm.
There exists. This is not right. It's enough to say, there is a mysterious place in Irapuato, right? You can say in Spanish, existe un lugar misterioso en Irapuato, but you don't have to say exists because it's enough to say there is to imply it is implicit that there is existence, that we're having an existence here.
Yeah.
So that's why we have there is a ship, there is a ball, etc. Can you? I'm sorry. Okay, here. If you can please continue reading the examples there, please. There is a ship. Who was reading this, Mitch or Mickey?
Me.
Okay,
But, well,
please, Mitch.
there is a ship in the harbor. What means harbor?
Puerto, like the Manzanillo Harbor, Mazatlan Harbor, Altamira Harbor, Veracruz Harbor, Puerto,
Puerto. The
Puerto.
botes.
Yeah, for ships.
Okay.
Right.
There is a bowl on the table. There were flowers in the meadow. What means meadow?
Meadow is like a small forest.
Small fruits.
Small forest, yes.
Okay. There is a river that passes through the mountain. There are many reasons to go to Jamaica.
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 Perfect. Yes, very good. Thank you. So you can see that we have there and there is and there are. Can you keep on, Mickey, please? Can you carry on?
Yes, sure. Singular versus plural use of there. The dummy pronoun there can be used in either a singular or plural context. When it's used in a singular context, the correlating nouns and verbs have singular endings. When it's used in a plural context, the corresponding nouns and verbs have plural endings.
Very good. Let's have an example, please. Can you read this, Mitch? Please,
There is a fence around the yard. In this case, the system of only think a fence. What means fence?
barda, reja, barda, more than barda, but not necessarily made of brick. It can be made of metal or wood.
Okay. A fence is being discussed, therefore the singular verb is and the singular noun fence are used. Here is another example of there being used in a singular context. There is a canoe on the lake. Again, the existence of only one canoe is being discussed, so the singular verb is and the singular noun canoe are used.
Okay, here just two small corrections. Canoe and discussed. In this case, the word, the letter U is pronounced as a, discussed, and canoe is the pronunciation of a canoa, right? Very good, Mitch. Thank you very much. Let's see other examples here. Plural, Mickey, please.
Plural, there are two fences around the yard. This sentence discusses the existence of two fences, and thus the plural form is used. This is demonstrated by the use of the plural verb are and the plural noun fences. Here's another example. There are many canoes on the lake. This sentence discusses the existence of two or more canoes. Because of this fact, the plural verb are and the plural noun canoes are used.
Very good. And then we have the adverbial there. There used like ahí, right? Is another use. It's a different use of the word there. Ahí, right? There is a house there. Hay una casa ahí. You use there as there is, I, and you use there as ahí or allá, right? Can you read, Mitch?
Also,
Although, aunque, although.
although the word there can be used as a dummy pronoun, it can also be used as an adverb. Because of this fact, it is important to know the difference between the two. When there is being used as an adverb, it is taking the place of an adverbial phrase oftentimes. What means oftentimes?
Often, many times, oftentimes, commonly, constantly, frequently.
Thank you. An adverbial prepositional phrase, for example, consider the following sentences. They swam in the water. I'm going to hide the cookies up above the fridge. Is this sentence in the water is a prepositional phrase that functions as an adverb. However, this adverbial can be replaced by the word there. They swam there. I'm going to hide the cookies up there. In these cases, the word there acts as an adverbial that gives further information about where the action takes place. But if the word there was used differently in a similar sentence, it could be function as a dummy pronoun. For example, there were a fish when there swam. There are cookies up about the fridge. Both these sentences use the existential there explain there are certain things, namely the fish and the cookies exist. There are also those not have any antecedents in these sentences, so it is clearly functioning as a dummy pronoun in both.
Okay, let's write an example in which you can use uh, there as as an adverb and there as a dummy as a dummy pronoun, right? So there are many people there. Can you read and translate this to Spanish, Mickey, please?
Yes, teacher. There are many people there. Hay muchas personas ahí.
Right, exactly. And it is a funny message. Yeah. Can you read and translate this to Spanish, Mickey, please?
Um, Hay un mensaje chistoso ahí.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Perfect. Very good. So there, like I, and there as I. So it's very, very simple, but it's important. It's funny to note these two cases. I believe that's it for the grammar. But oh no, weather is also important. Let me put it here. It as a dummy pronoun. Who wants to read this, please?
Yeah, teacher.
Okay.
It as a dummy pronoun, just like the dummy pronoun there, it is also used as a pronoun without an antecedent in sentences. It's commonly used in situations when weather, distance, or time is being discussed.
Okay, let's see weather. Mitch, can you read about weather, please?
Weather. The following are examples of sentences that use it as a dummy pronoun related to weather. It looks like it may snow tonight. It is raining. It was very sunny at the beach last weekend. It always seems to sleet. What means sleet?
It's lit when the small pieces of ice falls from the sky. It's like granizo.
Oh, okay. Granizo. To sleet when he drives on the highway.
All right, it's like in Spanish. In Spanish, you don't say ello llueve, right? You just say llueve. That's it.
Mhm.
But in English, you need to say it. It rains. It snows, right? Etc. And it is not unique because other languages like German have the same feature. But in Spanish, it is not necessary. We just say llueve because in Spanish we conjugate the verbs. So it is very easy to say llueve, but we never say llueves or lluevo, right? Llueve.
Mm-mm.
That's it. What happens with distance, Mickey, please?
Distance. The following examples use it as a dummy pronoun in sentences involving distance. It is very far from North America to Europe. It's a long drive to get to the mountain. It is a short walk once you get out of the forest. It is farther than you think to drive to California.
Exactly. Well, it's a no-brainer, right? It is easy. It's a short walk. It is farther. It's like in Spanish, you don't say ello está más lejos, you say está más lejos, right? You
It.
omit the pronoun in Spanish, but in English you cannot omit. And that's another problem some connationals have, right? That they tend to say rains, rains. And that's not right. They have to say it rains, right? Is far from here. It's far. It's not far. It is far from here. It is far from here. We need to add the pronoun it, even if it cannot be immediately translated to Spanish. So that's important to remember. Let's do time and quiz to read. Mitch, Mickey.
Mm, Mitch, I think.
Okay, Mitch, you want to read for time, please?
Time. The following example use it as a dummy pronoun in sentences involve time. It is 4:30. It was earlier than he expected. Could you tell me what time is it? She told him to come back when it was later in the day.
Exactly, very good. So for time, you say it is 4 o'clock. You don't say is 4 o'clock, you say it is. Yeah, if you translate, you simply say son las cuatro, right? But in Spanish, in English, you say it is, even in singular, whereas in Spanish you use son las, right? Son quién es son, right? It is 4 o'clock. It is 4:30. Let's hear the uses, Mickey, please. Can you read other uses?
Other uses. There are a number of other situations where it can be used as a dummy pronoun without pertaining to weather, distance, or time. When it functions as an empty subject to introduce or anticipate something that appears later in the sentence, it's sometimes referred to as an anticipatory it. It was assumed that the tour guide knew exactly how to get there. It seems that four people showed up instead of the expected two. It can also function as an object when it's a dummy pronoun. The teacher seemed a bit out of it yesterday. Watch it, Paul.
Right. So you use this in situations when there is it's a bit impersonal, right? It is said to. You use this in impersonal phrases like it is said that. Mickey is making it is said. Who says that? Nobody says that, right? It is impersonal. So you use it is said. It's equivalent to se dice, right? Right? Um, it is suspected that Mitch won an international software competition. It is suspected. Who suspects that? It doesn't say. That's why it's called impersonal. It is said, it is suspected, it is thought, right? It is thought, se piensa, it is thought that Irapuato is going to become a peaceful city by 2055.
Perfect.
Maybe I'm very optimistic, but I'm just making a joke. Going, okay. It is thought, se piensa que Irapuato va a ser una ciudad pacífica en el 2055. Okay. It's a joke, of course. But it is said, it is suspected, it is thought, it is believed. Can you do a phrase with this, Mitch? It is believed that, whatever, se cree que.
It is believed that it's going to rain in Christmas.
Perfect. Excellent. It is considered, Mickey, please.
It is considered that iPhone 14 has the same features than iPhone 13.
Okay. It is considered that iPhone 14 has the same features same as iPhone 13. Excellent. Very good. So in all these cases, you use the it as an impersonal pronoun because it doesn't explain who, but it is necessary. It is necessary to express, right? So it is important to put it. It's not only important, it is necessary to write it. Okay, let's see the distinction between singular and plural, please. Oops. Here. Can you please read the next one, singular versus plural, please?
It's Mitch, right?
Yes, yes, please.
I thought it was your word. Singular versus plural. Notice that in all of the example above, it is only functioning as a singular dummy pronoun. This is because it can be plural. This means that the verbs and objects in sentences with the dummy pronoun it have to be singular as well.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Now, the next one, Mickey, please. Subject versus object.
Yes, teacher. Sorry, I went to a glass of water. Subject versus object. A subject is a noun or pronoun that performs the action of the verb. An object is a noun or pronoun that receives the action of the verb. The dummy pronoun it can either function as the subject of a sentence or as the object. Although it is more commonly used as the subject. Existential there, on the other hand, can only be a subject. The word there can function as the object of a preposition, as in, we left from there. However, it's considered a noun in this case, not a pronoun. Here are some examples of sentences where dummy pronouns are used as subjects. There are many dogs in the pond. There is a tree in the middle of the field. It is 12:30. It is sunny outside today. Here are some examples of sentences where dummy pronouns are used as subjects. Will he make it to the game? Cool it down. Watch it.
Very good. Okay. Let's do this quiz. Let's do question number 1, Mitch, please.
Which of the following words is a dummy pronoun? It.
It. Perfect. Yeah, that's very good. Number 2, Mickey, please.
Which dummy pronoun could be used to complete the following sentence? There.
There. How would it read?
There were 12 colors in the painting.
Fantastic. Very good. Thank you very much. Number 3, Mitch, please.
Dummy pronouns are also referred to as what? Caray.
Let me go back to the definition of dummy pronouns.
I don't remember that.
No, don't worry. Dummy pronouns.
Expletive pronouns. What means expletive in Spanish?
Expletive, expletivos, like explanatory, explicativos, expletive
Okay.
pronouns. So that's what it is here.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3,
Expletive pronouns.
very good. Number 4, Mickey, please.
The following sentence includes what type of dummy pronoun? It was warm outside when they went to the pool.
It is the subject, the object, hyphenated, none of the above.
Subject?
It is the subject. Very good. Thank you very much. Number 5, Mitch, and then we finish. Dummy pronouns.
Dummy pronouns are different from regular pronouns because they don't have which of the following adverbs.
They don't have antecedents because you introduce the situation just with it. For example, say it rains. If you say, I have a beautiful cat, it is gray. When you say it, there was an antecedent. In this case, it's a noun. It's not a dummy pronoun because I'm familiar. I already learned from the cat. You say, I have a beautiful cat. It is gray or it is brown or whatever. But if you say it rains, it has no antecedent because you're just introducing a new sentence, okay?
Okay.
Well, very good. Well, today we had a very grammatical session, but I think it helped us clarify or maybe emphasize our previous knowledge on these ones. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we continue working on this from time to time, not all the time because then it becomes tedious.
Yes, teacher. No, it is great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
teacher.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much. So I just wanted to know if you have time tomorrow, or you prefer to do it as we have been doing it normally Saturday. What's your time tomorrow?
For me, there's no problem if it's tomorrow or if it's on Saturday. The class is my priority.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How about you, Mitch? For Saturday or tomorrow, you have some time before 6, like 5 to 6, 4 to 5?
5 to 6. It's okay, teacher.
5 to 6 tomorrow is okay?
No.
Yes, teacher, it's perfect.
Wonderful. Okay. So see you tomorrow and have a wonderful day, guys. Take care.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much,
teacher.
teacher.
Have a great day.
And you
You
too.
too.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Good
Bye.
day.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, teacher. Take care.